Welcome back to the cabin. Tonight's story is one you'll want to hear before you sleep, because some portals light themselves. Settle in, and don't forget to subscribe for more nightly tales. I didn't light the portal. That's the part that gets me. Every time I go over it in my head, every time I try to make sense of what happened, it always comes back to that. I didn't light the portal. It was supposed to be just another normal evening in my Minecraft world. I was gathering spruce near the edge of the northern forest, the one that turns to ice spikes just beyond the bend. My cabin was tucked up against the mountain cliff, cozy, fire always lit, chest full of golden carrots, and a bed placed just right for sunsets. I hadn't even thought about the Nether. Not yet. Not until I saw the flicker of purple through the trees. It was subtle, just the barest hint of light through the snow haze, like someone had left a torch burning where it shouldn't be. I thought maybe a lava pool had caught the woods on fire. I ran. But it wasn't fire. It was obsidian. Perfectly shaped. Perfectly placed. A nether portal. 12 blocks tall, 4 blocks wide. Fully built, fully functional, and burning. A clean, unbroken glow. Not a single crack or vine or bit of cobble around it. Just standing there. And the worst part? I hadn't built it. And I was the only one on the server. I stood there for a long time, just watching the portal hum, listening to the way it crackled. You know how portals sound, that eerie, low droning hum, like wind filtered through static. But this one was different. It wasn't just humming. It was whispering. I chalked it up to my texture pack. Or maybe shaders. You know how Minecraft can mess with your head when you've been playing for hours. But something felt wrong. I opened F3. There were no portal blocks listed in the chunk. That's when I really froze. No portal blocks, no fire blocks, no particles. And yet, it was glowing. It was there. I pulled out my pickaxe diamond, enchanted with efficiency 4 and unbreaking 3. I swung it at the obsidian. Clink. No damage. Tried again. Clink. Not even a tick of durability lost. That was impossible. I tried to mine it for 5 minutes straight. Switched to creative mode, even though this was supposed to be a survival-only server. But the blocks wouldn't break. The portal wouldn't fade. And when I stepped through it, nothing happened. No loading screen, no teleport, just the same humming sound. As if the game didn't want me to leave, or worse, as if it was waiting. I turned to go back to the cabin, and that's when I heard the footsteps. Not mine, not mobs, too light to be a skeleton, too steady for a zombie. Just the soft, rhythmic crunch of boots on snow, following me, pausing when I paused, moving when I moved. I spun around. Nothing. The portal stood there, humming like it had been there for centuries, like it was part of the world gen itself. No mobs, no players, just a sky full of stars and a field of snow. I ran, back to the cabin, slammed the door, placed torches, then glowstone, then soul lanterns, anything to push back the cold. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't log off either. Just stood by the window, watching the forest, waiting for the purple glow to show again. It never did. Not that night. But in the morning, it was closer. At first, I thought I was misremembering the terrain. Maybe I'd turned around. Maybe the trees just looked similar. But when I went back out to check, I knew something had changed. The portal had moved. It was now 20 blocks closer to my cabin. Still in the forest, but near the edge, nestled between 2 birch trees, perfectly aligned with the path I used for logging. Same obsidian, same size, same glow. Still lit, still whispering. I opened the server log, checked the chat, no commands, no players, no signs of griefing. I even scanned for structure files or mods. Nothing was out of place. Except the portal. I don't know what made me do it, but I tried stepping through it again. Same result. No teleport, just cold. And whispers. This time, I could almost make them out. Names, spoken like memories, like echoes. One of them sounded like mine. Back at the cabin, I started cleaning out some barrels I hadn't touched since early game. I needed distraction. Something, anything, to make me feel like this was still Minecraft, still my world. But when I opened the last barrel, the one by the smoker, under the flower pot, I found a book. I hadn't put it there. And this wasn't a written book, not the kind you write with a quill. This was a knowledge book, uncraftable, only obtainable through commands. I hadn't installed cheats. This was 100% survival. I'd even streamed the world before. I clicked it open. It had one line, "Don't let it reach the cabin." I stared at it for a long time. Then I ran back to the window. And sure enough, the portal was closer. Now only 10 blocks away. I did everything I could to stop it. I built barriers, stacks of cobblestone, obsidian walls, iron bars, anything that might slow it down. I even tried burying it in gravel to suffocate the light. Nothing worked. The portal didn't just stay lit. It pulsed, like a heartbeat. And every time I blinked, it seemed a little closer. I dumped water buckets on it. No change. I covered it with blocks. They disappeared. Literally vanished into the air, not even breaking, just gone, like the portal rejected them. That's when I noticed something else. The snow around it wasn't melting. It should have been. Nether portals give off light, they melt snow, but this one didn't. The snow stayed perfectly white, perfectly untouched. And that's when I realized it wasn't giving off heat. It was giving off cold. I didn't remember ever keeping a journal. But when I checked my chest labeled junk, there it was, a stack of books and quills I swear I'd never written in. Most were blank, except one. The title read simply, "The First Time It Lit." I opened it, hands shaking. The handwriting was mine. Not similar, mine. Same punctuation, same awkward lowercase i's, same style. But I had never written this. The entry read, "I didn't want to go in, but it was already burning. I thought maybe it was a ruined portal, a fluke. Maybe I forgot placing it. Maybe I sleep built again, but it was watching me. I know it was. Every night it got closer. Every night I dreamed in purple." It went on. I broke the rules. I brought the wrong wood. I used crying obsidian by accident. I thought the portal wouldn't light, but it did. And it didn't lead to the Nether. Not really. It led back. Back to what? I didn't want to find out. I tried logging out, just for a bit, to reset. But the screen glitched. My HUD vanished. My player model flickered between skins, not mine. Some were default. Some were glitched versions of skins I didn't recognize. One of them had no face. When the world finally saved and brought me to the menu, there was a new background image on the loading screen. Not the Nether. Not the end. It was a cabin. My cabin, with the portal glowing next to it. I stared at it in silence, then hit quit game. Rebooted. When I logged back in, it was snowing. But the snow wasn't falling down, it was falling upward. Particles rising, light dimming, and the portal was now directly outside my cabin, 3 blocks away. I didn't open the door. I just stood there and listened. I hadn't seen movement outside my cabin for 2 Minecraft days. The portal didn't hum anymore now, it shivered, a deep, rattling vibration that shook the lanterns in the ceiling. And then I heard it. That sound you never want to hear outside your house. The Nether portal whoosh. Something had come through. Something stepped onto the snowy ground. But it didn't crunch the snow. It floated. I crouched by the corner window, barely peeking through the glass. It wasn't a mob. It wasn't a player. It looked like me. But not. My skin, but mirrored. Colors inverted. Eyes blacked out completely. It turned its head, stared straight at me. Through the window. I backed away and blocked up the door. When I checked again, it was gone. But the portal was still open, and the snow was rising faster now. The next morning, I broke a block of snow where the portal had first appeared. It screamed, not like a mob, not like a ghast or a fox or a warden. It screamed like a person, like me. It lasted half a second, but it was enough to make me throw off my headphones and knock over my mic. I ran around in-game, punching everything, trying to replicate it. Nothing. Every block was normal, except that one spot. When I went back to it, there was a new block there. A note block, placed perfectly in the snow, tuned to the Nether portal sound. I didn't place it, and I never crafted one in this world. When I destroyed it, it dropped nothing, but the screen played again, and this time, it whispered a word. Open. I didn't want to open it, but I needed answers. I needed to know if this was a glitch, or if I'd somehow triggered a cursed seed, or downloaded the wrong data pack. Something. Anything. I opened the F3 screen again, looked at the portal's location. X, 666. Y, 66. Z, 6. At first, I thought it was a coincidence. Then I noticed something worse. The biome was blank, literally empty. Where it should have said taiga or snowy plains, it just said biome. No. I checked the debug pie. It spun in broken patterns. Then my FPS dropped to 1. Only 1. Frozen frame, screen trembling, audio popping. The portal was pulling me in. Not physically, not with in-game motion, but through the atmosphere, the sound, the whispers. I couldn't stop myself. I walked forward and stepped through. No loading screen. No nether terrain. No fire. Just void. An endless, yawning space of gray fog and floating particles like static made three-dimensional. I stood on a single block of crying obsidian, suspended in nothingness. Behind me, the portal had vanished. No going back. And the sky, if you could call it that, was pulsing in inverted colors. Purple, black, dark, red, all shifting like an enderman's eyes underwater. I opened my inventory. It was empty. Every slot, gone. Even my armor, even my skin had changed hands, pale, ghost-like. No detail, like a Steve model rendered without textures. And then the message appeared. Not in chat. In the sky. One word, spelled in fire particles that hung upside down. Remember. I walked forward. There was no path, but somehow my feet didn't fall. Just drifted. And then, through the fog, I saw it. My cabin, floating, identical. Same windows, same porch, even the campfire on the side still smoking, even here in the void. But it wasn't lit. It was burning. Not normal fire either, black fire, soul fire, but darker, as if it had lost its color entirely. I approached slowly. Every step echoed louder than the last, as if I were stepping on bones. When I reached the door, it opened by itself. No redstone, no mechanism, just creaked open like it had been waiting. Inside, it was silent, until I saw the journal on the table. Not just any journal, my journal, with a new entry, today's date. And it read, "You finally came back." I sat at the in-game table, just sat there staring at the journal. Then, a second book appeared, right in front of me. No animation, no sound. It was titled simply, Second Run. I opened it, pages and pages of logs like save data, but written out manually. Details about builds, coordinates, names of mobs I'd killed, blocks placed, even screenshots described in text. One line caught my eye. Player re-entered portal after 213 hours. Behavior consistent with loop. Loop? What loop? I flipped to the last page. It said, if you're reading this, you're still not free. Destroy the cabin, burn the bed, break the chain. My breath caught, because I remembered now. I had lit that portal. Not here, not in this save, but in another world, a long time ago, and it had followed me. I tried to follow the instructions. Punched out the bed, it didn't break. Tried to ignite the cabin with flint and steel. The fire passed through the logs like light through glass. Even in creative mode, I couldn't destroy the blocks. This wasn't a build. It was a memory, frozen in code. When I placed TNT, it didn't ignite. When I tried kill, the command didn't exist. I wasn't even on a server anymore. The tab list was empty. Even my name was gone. Just read, redacted. I looked in the mirror, on the wall one I'd never placed. It showed the cabin, but not me. Just the purple shimmer of the portal, still behind me, still open, still waiting. I paused the game, went to the menu, clicked save and quit. Nothing happened. No lag, no crash, just nothing. As if I'd never clicked at all. I tried again, same result. Finally, I tabbed out of the game. That's when I noticed the window title had changed. It no longer said Minecraft 1.20.1 single player. It now said Realm, the Quiet Flame, expired. I stared at it. I hadn't played on a realm in months, maybe a year. But the name The Quiet Flame, I remembered that. It was the first realm I ever joined. Back in the early days, just a few friends, a tiny server, and a starter base built under a giant oak. I hadn't thought about it in years. That realm had been deleted. But somehow, this world remembered. I went outside the cabin again. The portal was still there, behind the trees, distant but visible, burning softly like a lighthouse in fog. But the terrain had shifted. Where my horse pen used to be, there was now a grave. Single headstone, mossy cobblestone block, no flowers, just a sign sticking out of the snow. It read, "Here lies you." Not my username, just you. I broke the sign. It reappeared. I broke it again. This time, I got a message in chat. "You've already done this." A chill crawled up my neck. I checked the grave again. It had changed. Now, the sign read, "Stop trying." I walked away fast, but I could feel it behind me. That creeping sense you get when you've looked too far into a command block system and seen something you weren't meant to. I opened my coordinates again. Still 666, 66, 6. No matter where I walked. Later that in-game night, I heard knocking. Not banging, not zombie fists. Knocking, 3 soft taps on the cabin's trapdoor to the basement. I didn't have a basement. I never built one. But the trapdoor was there now, right under the rug. Birch planks, half open, as if inviting me in. I hesitated, then descended. The stairs spiraled downward, too many to count. The air got colder, the particles thicker, until I reached a second cabin. Identical in every way. Furnishings the same, torches in the same place, a bed I didn't remember sleeping in. And on the table, another journal. This one titled, Cycle Number 3. I didn't want to open it, but my character did anyway. By itself, the journal flipped open automatically. Words scrolled across the page on their own, like a cutscene. "You came through the wrong portal. You stayed too long. You forgot to forget. Another page turned. You're not the first. You're not the last. But maybe you're the one who breaks the pattern. Another turn. Destroy the real portal. The original one. The one still burning in your mind. I didn't understand. Which portal? The one behind my cabin? The one in the void? The first one I ever lit? My screen flickered. A screenshot popped up for half a second. It was one I didn't take, a memory I didn't remember. A ruined portal, half buried in sand. Lit. Burning. Coordinates. -325. 71. 411. I wrote them down. When the journal closed, my screen pulsed red once. Then everything went silent. Even the game sounds. I tried going back upstairs. Back to the normal cabin. But the staircase was gone. Just void. Particles falling upward. Blocks de-rendering one by one like time-lapse decay. The game was deleting the world. Or rolling it back. Or maybe reverting to something older. I tried opening the coordinates from the screenshot. Typed in TP 3257-1411. It worked, which made no sense. I hadn't enabled cheats. But I landed right on the sandy coast. No portal, just smooth stone and a desert well. But I remembered it now. This was the first portal I'd ever built in Minecraft. Back in version 1.12. Before shaders, before mods, before friends. I placed obsidian in the same shape, lit it, and the moment the flint clicked, the whole screen flashed white, then black, then a final message. Are you ready to forget? The question hovered on screen. Are you ready to forget? I expected a YN prompt, but nothing appeared. No cursor, no input box, no mouse. Just those words. I sat there, waited, wondered if it was rhetorical. Then the screen dimmed further just slightly, almost like the question was losing patience. So I typed it. Yes. The game paused. The background music kicked in, but it wasn't Minecraft music. It was a reversed version of Sweden. Slow, distorted, with long empty silences between each note. Then the screen flashed again, and I woke up, back in the cabin, fire crackling, chest full of carrots, dog sitting by the door. For a second, I thought everything was fine. But then I saw it. The portal, still burning, still lit, closer now than it had ever been, right up against the glass. And this time, something was stepping through. It wasn't a mob, wasn't a player. It was a figure. Same size as me, same height, same build, but fully black. No textures, no detail, just shadow. And it was moving slowly toward the door. My dog growled a sound I hadn't heard in-game for days. The thing stopped, stared at me. I ran to block the door, placed obsidian, placed iron doors, placed anvils, anything to delay it. But none of it mattered, because it didn't break the blocks. It didn't glitch through. It just appeared. Inside, no sound, no particles, no animation. 1 second it was outside. The next, it was standing at the foot of my bed. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Then it spoke. In my chat window, "You keep choosing yes." That line stuck with me. You keep choosing yes. What did that mean? How many times had I done this? How many loops? I tried opening the game folder, but all the world saves were gone, replaced with one file, portal log 6.txt. I opened it. Line after line of entries. Loop 1, ignored portal, world corrupted. Loop 2, entered early, entity followed. Loop 3, burned cabin. Reset. Loop 4, spoke to mirror. Failed escape. Loop 5, buried portal. Failed memory. Loop 6, accepted prompt. Loop incomplete. Every loop had notes, outcomes. Some successful, most not. And then the last line. Loop 7, status pending. Player status aware. That word chilled me. Aware. I was awake in the story now. I wasn't just playing it. I was it. And the portal, it wasn't an object. It wasn't a destination. It was me. That night, the figure didn't leave. It just stood in the corner of the cabin, unmoving. I tried logging out. Didn't work. I tried dying in-game. Jumped from the cliff. No fall damage. I tried deleting the world. It reappeared the moment I relaunched the game. Same seed, same build, same portal. The only thing different now was the figure. It followed me. Not just in the game. In my PC, I found its texture saved as a random PNG in my screenshots folder. Found a text file named after it, shadow.json. It had code I didn't understand, but at the bottom, it said, goal. Help the player forget. Forget what? Forget the world? Forget the portal? Forget that I ever existed? I didn't know anymore. I decided to test something. Started a brand new world. Fresh seed. Creative mode. Random terrain. No structures. Built a new cabin. Different wood. No portal. No nether brick. Nothing from before. Just a plain build. I placed a bed. Slept once. Woke up. And there it was. On the hill behind the cabin. The portal. Same dimensions. Already lit. Still burning. Still whispering. This time, I didn't run. I walked up to it. No longer afraid. Inside the frame, I didn't see the nether. I saw me. A reflection. 1,000 versions of me looping, loading, walking through again and again and again. Trapped in memory. Trapped in a seed that never stops growing. I reached out and touched the light. When I touched the light, the game crashed. Not like a freeze or a soft crash, a full, hard exit. No error message, just a blank screen, then darkness. When I reopened Minecraft, there was only one world available to load. It wasn't named anything I remembered. World Infinity. I hovered over it. The preview image was my cabin covered in snow. Fire out. Portal still burning. Now with vines growing along the top obsidian blocks. I clicked play. The loading bar didn't fill. Instead, the screen dimmed to black, and then I was there. Back in the cabin. Same chest, same bed, same dog. Except now the walls were cracked. The wood had turned gray, and someone else was standing inside. It was me. Again, but older, as if my character had aged. Beard, weathered skin, leather armor worn down to scraps. He turned toward me and typed, "Took you long enough." I backed away, but my clone didn't move, just stood there, watching. Another message popped up in chat. I stayed. You kept leaving, but I stayed, and I finally remembered. I tried to speak, typed, "Who are you?" I'm the part of you that didn't escape. The first loop, the one who built the cabin. You left me here to rot. I wanted to explain, but the chat auto-filled without me typing. You have to choose now. Then he vanished. Instantly. And I was alone. Except for the sound. That low hum. That horrible hum of the portal behind the house. Only now, it was louder than ever. Like it was inside the walls. I sprinted outside. No sky. No clouds. just swirling purple and black above the mountains, like the entire skybox had turned into one massive portal frame. I opened my coordinates. Still 666, 66, 6. No matter where I went. Even when I walked 1,000 blocks in one direction, the numbers stayed the same. This wasn't a location anymore. This was a state, a layer, like I hadn't stepped through the portal, but become part of it. The trees warped when I looked at them. Their leaves flickered in and out of chunks. Water flowed upward. Mobs stood completely still as if paused mid-code. The world had stopped pretending, and it wanted me to understand. Back inside the cabin, there was one last book. On the floor, in the exact spot where the portal first appeared. Its title, Final Loop. I picked it up. The text was short, only one page. You were the spark, the first fire, the first obsidian placed, the first flint struck, and every cabin after has been built on the ash of the last. There is no escaping the portal. There is only containing it. So now, you must choose. 2 options appeared in the journal. Stay and seal the world. Leave and let it spread. No cursor, just silence. Then the portal whooshed one last time behind me. I chose to stay. I don't know if it was the right decision, but as soon as I clicked the journal, the world shimmered. The cabin snapped back to normal fresh logs, fire burning, snow gently falling outside. The portal, gone, for now. My inventory filled with items, enchanted flint and steel, obsidian, soul lanterns, a book titled Reminders. In it were 3 simple rules. Don't light another portal. Don't let the flame go out. Don't forget again. I rebuilt the fence, planted crops, tried to live normally, but every night I hear it. That soft hum, that static in the trees, the invitation. And sometimes, just sometimes, I forget. And when I do, the nether portal lights itself again. Already burning, already waiting, already open. 3 days passed in game. I didn't light another portal. Didn't mine obsidian. Didn't craft flint and steel. I played it safe, chopping wood, breeding cows, repairing tools, just the usual, normal Minecraft stuff. And then, during a simple trip to collect snow near the river, I saw it. Not the portal. Not yet, but a flicker. In the corner of my screen. Purple, barely there, just for a split second. I thought it was a visual glitch. Until it happened again. And again, always in the same spot about 30 blocks behind me, just out of frame. And then I remembered something from the journal. Don't look directly at it. It notices. I ran back to the cabin. But the hum was already starting. That night, my torchlight started flickering. At first, I thought it was redstone interference. Maybe I'd placed a torch too close to some hidden circuit, but I didn't have any redstone in the cabin. Then I noticed the shadows on the wall. They moved, but not with the torches. They moved like players, walking past the window. But I was alone, offline, single player. I crouched behind the stairwell, staring at the wall, and the shadow stopped moving. It just stared back, like the cabin itself had developed an eye. And the next morning, one of the logs was missing, replaced with obsidian. I told myself I wouldn't relight it, but I needed answers. So I crafted the flint and steel again just to check something, just to test. I didn't light a portal, didn't even place obsidian. I just held the flint, and the game responded, "You remember too much." A command popped up in chat. I hadn't typed it. Fill tilde, 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 portal, block, keep. And suddenly, the air above my cabin began to shimmer. It wasn't on the ground anymore. It was in the sky. A floating ring of obsidian, huge, maybe 30x 30 blocks wide, suspended like a black hole above my cabin. The center shimmered with nether light. Except it wasn't the nether. It showed other worlds. Old builds. Unfinished projects. Abandoned servers. People I used to play with. The portal wasn't just a door anymore. It was a window. A history of everything I'd ever made. And everything I'd left behind. That same day, I started receiving messages in chat. Random at first. Welcome back. You left them. They remember you. Then names. Old usernames. Friends from years ago. Players I hadn't seen online in forever. Their names scrolled like a credit screen. Except I hadn't typed them. None of them were online. Some hadn't logged into Minecraft in years. Then one final line appeared. They never logged out. I decided to travel walk for hours in one direction. No portals, no beds, just distance. And then, 2,000 blocks away, I found another cabin. Identical to mine. Exact same layout. Same torches. Same bookshelf pattern. But older. Rotting wood. No fire. Inside, there was a single skeleton. Wearing my armor. Holding my shield. I tried to interact. It disappeared. Only one thing remained. A carved sign on the table. Loop 4. You stayed too long. That night, something approached the cabin. Not a zombie. Not a pillager. Not a wandering trader. It looked like an evoker. Same robe. Same hands. But taller. It glitched through fences. Didn't burn in sunlight. When it spoke, it used my voice. You're trying to rewrite the story. I tried to fight it. Swung my sword. Fired arrows. They passed through. It touched the door. The whole cabin turned black. I logged out. Waited. Logged back in. The world had changed. Everything, trees, mountains, animals turned to obsidian. Still in their shapes, still in place, like a statue world. No movement, no wind, no sounds. I looked up. The portal in the sky was still glowing, but now it spun slowly, as if ticking, as if counting. A new line appeared in my hotbar. Loop 7 to 0, 6 hours, 23 minutes, and 14 seconds. A countdown. I didn't know to what. I thought maybe it was until the world reset. Maybe until I lost control again. But no, it wasn't server time. It was playtime. The time I had left before forgetting again. I ran back to the cabin. Dug through every barrel, every chest. And in the furnace, I found a map. One that showed the cabin, the portal, and a structure far, far away. Something I'd never built. Labeled Origin Point. I gathered food, tools, blocks. Started walking. Through mountains, rivers, caves. The world glitched around me. Chunks failed to load. Mobs froze mid-step. The sun looped every 30 seconds. But I pressed on. I followed the map. Past biomes I didn't recognize. And then I saw it. An island. Floating above the void. With one thing on it. A bed. The island hovered in silence. It wasn't connected to any landmass, just suspended above the void like a forgotten debug feature. One lone oak tree, one red bed, and a sign. I used blocks from my inventory to bridge over, placing them slowly, nervously, half expecting the void to swallow me. But it didn't. I reached the island. The sign read, "Last place you slept." That was impossible. I had dozens of beds. Cabins all over the world. Spawn points reset. Servers updated. But as I hovered over the bed, I felt it. Felt the memory. A time before shaders. Before mods. Before the cabin. This was the first bed I ever slept in. Minecraft Day 1. My original spawn point. The game had remembered. Next to the bed, buried beneath the grass, was a single glowing block. Something I'd never seen before. It looked like crying obsidian, but more fluid, like it pulsed when you moved. It didn't have a name. My HUD just read, memory block. I tried to mine it. Wouldn't break. Tried to move it. Wouldn't budge. But when I right-clicked, the world changed. Colors inverted. Sound cut out. And suddenly, I was standing in a version of the cabin made entirely of glass. Floating. Infinite. And inside the portal, I saw myself. I wasn't alone. The glass cabin was full of me. Dozens of player models, some frozen, some walking, some just staring at walls. Each one seemed stuck in a loop. One was placing torches over and over. One was eating golden carrots nonstop. One was just jumping in place forever. They didn't see me. Or maybe they didn't care. I stepped up to the portal. It reflected not my skin, but my face. My real face. For just a second. Then the message appeared. Echoes of choices made. You created this world. Now unmake it. In the center of the room was a single obsidian block. Perfect. Untouched. And hovering above it, a heart. Not like in-game health hearts, this one looked real. Beating slowly. Black with a faint purple glow. I hovered over it. Tooltip. World anchor. When I tried to interact, the screen glitched. The timer returned. Loop 7 to 0. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 59 seconds. Time was almost up. I had 1 minute. One chance. A final message scrolled across the screen. Break the heart, or let it consume you. I pulled out my pickaxe. Netherite. Unbreaking. Sharpness. Fortune. Enchanted long ago. It shimmered under the infinite glass sky. I raised it high. Swung at the obsidian heart. Crack. Swung again. Crack. Swung a third time. Shatter. And the whole world collapsed. Not exploded. Collapsed. As if the code folded in on itself. Glass shattered. Figures vanished. The portal flickered once. Then everything went dark. I opened my eyes. Back in the cabin. But it wasn't snowing. It wasn't night. It wasn't cursed. No obsidian, no portal, no humming. Just peace. A normal Minecraft world. And on the wall, a new painting. One I'd never seen before. A cabin, floating in stars, with a portal at its center. The tooltip read, "You remember, but you are free." I tried everything I could to test it. Lit a new portal, nothing strange. Traveled to the Nether, just piglins and basalt. Walked the old route to the snowy woods, no portal ruins. I even opened the journal again. It was empty. Just a title, The End of the Loop. I still hear it sometimes. When I walk too far from spawn. When I place obsidian near a cliff, a soft flicker, a slight hum, like an echo from a forgotten seed. And sometimes, my dreams are purple. Not nightmares, not scary, just familiar, as if part of me misses the portal, misses the loop, misses the cabin that couldn't burn. But I wake up, and the world is still whole. If you've made it this far, maybe you're wondering, was it real? Did I get stuck in some glitched world? Was the portal actually haunted? I don't know. But what I do know is this. Don't light portals near cabins. Don't ignore whispers in the snow. And if you ever see a portal already lit, walk the other way. This is where the story ends. At least, this version. You can build the cabin again. You can light the fire. You can sleep in the bed. But remember this, portals don't light themselves. Unless you've already walked through one. 2 real days passed. I didn't log in, just let the game sit. And when I finally did, there was a new splash screen. Yellow text. One I'd never seen before. Some flames don't go out. I checked the patch notes. No updates, no snapshots. Everything was normal. Except, it wasn't. When I loaded my world, the cabin had changed again. Only slightly. The fire was still burning. The portal was still gone. But on the roof, above the chimney, a single obsidian block, like a scar that refused to fade. In the corner of the cabin, the one where I used to keep my brewing stand, a new chest had appeared. It was charred, textured like it had burned and reformed. I hovered over it. Name, Ash Chest. Inside, one item, a single blaze powder, unstackable. Tooltip, final ember, do not ignite. I left it alone. For hours, until I couldn't anymore. I held it, and the whispers returned, quieter now, but clearer. They said, "You buried it, but you didn't destroy it." I started digging, straight down from the cabin's fireplace. 10 blocks, 20, until I hit bedrock, and there it was. A dormant portal, flat, horizontal, like a nether portal laid out as a grave. Unlit, cracked, silent, but when I placed the blaze powder into a nearby dropper, it ignited. Not with flame, but with memory. The whole screen flashed with old terrain, old servers, old usernames. The sound of blocks being placed in reverse. Then black. When my screen came back, I was in a new world, freshly generated, but everything was in grayscale, even the sky. The game menu had changed too. Instead of single player, it now read Loop 0 mode, and in the top left corner, a timer. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 1 second. I spawned inside a cave, torch in hand, and across from me, sitting on a stone chair, was a player. Skinless, Namateg, Loop Origin. They spoke in the chat. You dug too deep. Loop Origin walked ahead, placing torches. Their movement was stiff, robotic, scripted. They led me to a chamber. Huge, natural, carved long before I got here. In the center, a circle of obsidian blocks, like a portal ritual, but not complete. And on the far wall, glowing faintly, was the first portal I had ever built. The original one, from years ago, now half buried in vines. Still humming, still waiting. Loop Origin, you forgot it. Loop Origin. But it never forgot you. A choice appeared. 2 levers on the ground. Left, seal the memory. Right, live in denial. I hesitated. Then I pulled the left one. The screen shook. The obsidian ring erupted in purple light. And then I was back in the cabin. Normal world. Normal weather. Except my player model was flickering, switching between old skins I'd worn over the years. Like the game was unsure which version of me to keep. That night, I saw them. Outside the cabin, 3 figures, standing perfectly still in the snow. One looked like me from 2014 default Steve with iron armor. Another wore my custom Halloween skin from years ago. And the third had no face. They didn't move, didn't leave, didn't chat. They just watched all night. And in the morning, there were no footprints, just a single line in chat. You made us. Something strange happened with my lanterns. When I logged in, they'd all turned to soul lanterns, even the ones I'd never crafted that way. And they flickered, not randomly, in patterns. I watched closely. Then it clicked. Morse code. I decoded it with a sight. The message? Don't rebuild. On day 1000 of the world, according to my stats, a new block appeared in my inventory. I hadn't picked it up, hadn't crafted it. Just there. Name Ghost Block. When I placed it, it disappeared. But the portal sound played. Low, slowed, reversed. I broke the block below where I placed it, found nothing. But when I stood there, my screen pulsed. A heartbeat, and a chat message from no one. It's under you now. I tried logging out. It worked. For a second, but when I came back, the world had renamed itself. Cabin, Confession, L8. And in the loading screen, Loop 8 initialized. Deeper this time. No portal in sight. But the cabin walls were darker. A single painting hung over the fireplace. One I hadn't placed. It showed a portal with me standing inside it, smiling. I stared at the painting, myself inside the portal, smiling. I tried to remove it. Wouldn't break. Tried to turn away. My camera forced itself back, like the game wanted me to look. So I stood there, staring at my own image and the soft purple glow behind me. And then, from the painting, not the portal, came the sound, that familiar whoosh, and a single whisper. You never left. That night, the cabin fire went out for the first time. I didn't let it, didn't forget to stoke it. It just died, and I couldn't relight it. Even with flint, even with blaze, even with commands. Nothing caught, as if the game had decided no more warmth. I stepped outside. The portal wasn't there, but I could feel it again. Not above, not below, inside the cabin. Inside me, I backed up the world, saved it to a USB, deleted the local files. Fresh Minecraft install, clean seed, new start, different shaders, no data packs, no structures. Spawned in a plains biome, far from mountains. Built a stone hut, no fireplace, no obsidian, no bed. Everything controlled, everything safe. I played for 10 days. Then, the humming returned. When I quit the title screen, the music changed. Minecraft's usual calm menu track? Gone. Replaced by whispers. Real whispers. My name, spoken softly, from different voices. One from childhood, one from recent memory, one that sounded just like me. And in the bottom right corner, a new message appeared. Some stories write themselves. Others remember you. If you're hearing this, if you're falling asleep to it, or mining casually, or listening in the background, know this. This isn't just a story. Not entirely. It's a memory. One passed from player to player, world to world, like data you didn't mean to copy. And if you've ever seen a portal light itself, if you've ever heard the sound when no portal was there, if you've ever logged in and felt like the world was already watching you, you've already begun your loop. You've already begun your loop. And now, it's your cabin. If you made it this far, you're already part of the story. Hit like if the portal found you too, and subscribe to hear what happens in the next confession. Sleep well if you can.